You may enter. His lordship is expecting you.
So, you're messengers from Ratai, huh? I was wondering when someone would turn up. All right, then. Let's hear it.
My respects, Sir Otto. I am Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, and this is Henry of Skalitz, my escort.
Welcome to Trotsky, gentlemen. I'd greet you standing up as befits, but I'm glad I can even sit at the moment.
I heard you were ambushed by outlaws.
You heard right. Those bastards did a job on me. And I got out luckier than most. Almost all the others were killed, including my page and my surgeon. So there is no one here to heal me, and I will have to inform poor Albert's father that his son died in my service.
I hope your health will soon be restored, sir.
We shall see. But now, you tell me what happened here in Herrgottsnamen. Why did my chamberlain try to hang you, Lord Capon?
In truth, the welcome we got from your Master Chamberlain was somewhat... how shall I put it? Well, it was somewhat unexpected. I must say, it was the first time I had a noose around my neck, and it wasn't the most pleasant experience.
Please, accept my apologies, sir. And that of my chamberlain, too. Is that not so, Ulrich? I must say in his defense that he had my orders not to admit anyone to the castle, and to be cautious.
I understand, sir. At home, some bandits got into Tamberg by subterfuge, and it cost us a lot of effort to reconquer it.
I'm glad you understand. Anyway, let us leave this misunderstanding aside and get to the point. As far as I'm aware, Ratai showed no interest in negotiations before, either with me or with the League of Lords.
True. Our houses have thus far stood on opposite sides.
I should say so. Attacking Brno and Jihlava together with that renegade Sokol of Lemberg hardly inspired our sympathy. But let us leave that aside. Tell me, what does Sir Hanush have on his mind? I am all ears.
Unfortunately, during the ambush, we lost the letter we were carrying, so you'll have to make do with my word of mouth.
All right. Go ahead and speak.
In brief, Sir Hanush, Sir Radzig, and other lords take the view that the situation has got out of control. And that's of no benefit to anyone in Bohemia, neither Wenceslas's supporters or the League of Lords. King Sigismund's actions will not lead to instilling greater order than under King Wenceslas. Quite the contrary.
Let us say that maybe. What arises from it?
Sir Hanush and the other lords on our side are interested in knowing what the stance of the League of Lords is at this moment, and whether they haven't perhaps reevaluated some things.
In other words, whether I might betray Sigismund.
I wouldn't be so bold as to suggest that, sir. We are merely interested in whether you would sit down at the negotiating table with us. It's necessary to discuss the future of the kingdom, whether it's to be a common one or not.
The future is still a long way off for me, Lord Capon. Nonetheless, Sir Hanush and Sir Radzik are right. There is disorder and anarchy in the land. Bandits riding roughshod all over. As we all know, to our cost.
We've had plenty of experience of that at home too, sir. Only a short time ago we had to deal with a similar band.
Then you will surely understand that before I begin debating who would be the better king, I must sweep my own doorstep. Only I'm damned if I know how to do that, since those bastards have wiped out half of my garrison, including my captain.
If I may be so bold, sir, you're not the only one. We also have a score to settle with them, so Henry and I will gladly help you.
Is that so? Now that is what I call the words of a knight, Sir Hans.
Right now, we've got a common enemy. So we have common interests, too.
So then, sir, may we be of assistance to you?
Indeed, you may. Perhaps in the end we may really find some common ground. I need to muster sufficient reserves to deal with those outlaws once and for all. I'm summoning my vassals here to Trotsky. And since I don't have many men left to send as messengers, I will gladly accept your help.
Just say the word, sir. Where should we go?
You'll go to Nebakov, a small castle, or rather a fortress among the cliffs. The yeoman there, Jaromir Nebak, is an old hardhat and may not be very willing to fulfill his obligations. It would be useful if an eloquent noble like yourself visited him to explain him clearly why I need his whole garrison.
Is that all, sir?
It's no simple task. Knowing Jaromir, if I sent a common messenger, he'd come back with a boot print on his backside. Dealing with the lower nobility can be tricky. They tend to be fixated on their own somewhat fragile status.
Who is this Lord Nebak?
The lord of a smaller house with not much in the way of estates, just a fortress and lands, but he also owns a mill that provides a significant part of his income. His children are grown up. His daughter married well, thanks to Sir Otto. His son is away from the domain, dealing with duties. Sir Otto helped him to acquire an official position. In short, the House of Nebak is more than beholden to Sir Otto for his magnanimous help and support.
Thank you, Ulrich. Nevertheless, I suspect Jaromir will not be keen to charge into battle. But that is of little consequence. He has a few good men who will be useful. That will do us. If he delivers, I will regard his obligation as fulfilled.
What should we do if he's unwilling to heed what we say?
His house has always been loyal to mine. And it has always been more than worth their while. So tell him that I would like it to remain so. I do not expect any great obstacles, but it would be wise to show Sir Jaromir respect by sending him someone of status. He will take his time over being persuaded, and then concur, as he always has done.
I'll get to him somehow, sir.
I expect nothing less from you.
We'll take care of it, sir. Count on us.
All right. We'll head out as soon as possible. Let's not delay our diplomatic mission unnecessarily.
Very well. I think that is all for now. The Chamberlain will show you where you can put your heads down, and he will supply you with horses. And once we have resolved this little digression, we shall talk about your own mission.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask something, Sir Otto?
Oh. Ask away, young man.
When you were ambushed, did you see those bandits? Would you recognize any of them?
Henry, don't start with that again.
Why do you ask?
The thing is, when we were ambushed, I believe I saw among them one of the men we ran up against at home.
Oh. What did he look like? Do you know his name?
He's called Istvan Toth, a Hungarian noble. He wears black armor. A stocky fella, around 40.
I've already told you that's nonsense. How would he be here? You only saw him from a distance, from behind. You're imagining it.
And why does this Toth interest you, young man?
He was the leader of a band that made trouble for us in Sasau. And he has something that belongs to me.
Interesting. Interesting. But I must disappoint you. I saw no one of that description.
Thank you, sir. And sorry. I had to ask.
I understand. And now I shall entrust you to the care of Uri here. And I shall look forward to the good tidings you bring me from Nebakov. Go with God, gentlemen.
Thank you for everything, sir. The Lord be with you.
There will be time enough yet for social niceties. Now there are more practical matters to deal with. Sir Otto has generously agreed to accommodate Lord Capon in one of his chambers. And you, Henry, shall also be accommodated, as befits your station. There, your equipment shall also be returned to you, and you'll find your horse in the stable. Nevertheless, his lordship takes the view that, as a noble's escort, you should have a befitting mount. And therefore he has kindly decided that you may take one of our horses, if you so wish. Gentlemen, follow me. So, Sir Hans, allow me to...
Hold on, Sir Ulrich. If you think everything is settled between us, and we're gonna act like nothing happened, then you're mistaken.
Sir?
You were going to have me executed a short while ago. I expect a proper apology.
Then please accept my apology once more, sir. But given the circumstances...
Given the circumstance? What circumstances?
Sir, poaching is a capital offence.
And are you the king? That you can hand down death sentences? No, you are not. What's more, you had plenty of reasons to realize it wasn't a good idea.
Sir, I could not have realized that.
You couldn't have realized. Yes, you could, but then you wouldn't have been able to play the Lord and stage private executions.
Sir, once more I apologize. And now, please allow me to show you to your quarters.
I wouldn't dream of inconveniencing you. I'll find my quarters by myself. Henry, once you're done with that annoying fool, get your horse and we'll meet at the gate.
Well, it seems Lord Capon will not be requiring my services anymore today.
Звісно.
Silence is golden, eh?
Стільки проблем нам зробив.
Nevertheless, welcome to Trotsky, the finest and biggest castle you shall ever see. Rumor has it that the castle was built on the jaws of hell, and that we're sometimes plagued by demons here. But don't believe a word of it. It's just idle talk to excuse the servants' laziness and incompetence. It's demanding enough keeping everything here running smoothly without any of that. It requires a man of exceptional qualities and talents. By the way, this place is a maze for strangers. It's very easy to get lost. The jail cells are down there. But I believe you are already fairly well acquainted with that part of the castle, aren't you?
All too well, thanks.
Here it is. You'll find a bed inside, opposite the door, and a chest where we put your belongings. You'll find some new clothing there, a little gift from our gracious Lord, to ensure you're not mistaken for a beggar again. Once you're settled in and properly dressed, stop by the stables. They're beyond the gate, down the path. Ask for Kabat. He was supposed to prepare a horse and tack for you. Or tell him you'll keep your own if you insist. Then he'll give you proper tack at least, so you don't disgrace us.
Thanks. I'm grateful.
As you should be. So, you and I are finished, and I can finally attend to some proper work, so this castle doesn't fall on our heads.
Ну що, привіт, мої любі друзі. Ми продовжуємо наше проходження KINGDOM COME DELIVERANCE, частина 2. І так, нарешті нас признали, що пан Тачик є на самом деле пан, що ми його супроводжувач. І так, на зараз ми отримали нашу кімнату, не знаю, домівку тут у замкові. Пан Тачик десь там у панських хоромах. І що, ми тут. І тут у нас є ящик. Це не те, що мені подарували. Ну, зараз глянемо. Я розумію, вони трохи дали нам тут одягу. Але тут у ящику мій одяг є. Але зараз глянемо, що вони нам пропонують. Так, це точно не є. Зброя і... Ну, таке, не знаю. Так. Треба забрати своє спорядження. Щось тут дуже багато, де мої... Так. Це мій меч військовий нам... Так, палиться. А звідси я зможу свого коня? Тож нам не потрібно. Так, лицарський щит. Залишити це і це ні. Напевно, це залишимо. Це все на коняку. Вже кінь перевантажений. Відразу скинемо щити. Так, а ну-ка, що у нас? Ну да, навіть тут капелюх Святого Говарда. Що це за капелюх? У нас такого не було. Каптур майстра ловчого. Це треба зняти. Так, треба отак зробити, щоб ми розуміли, що нам потрібно, що ні. Чудо ж кінь перевантажений. Так, напевно, щити треба забрати. Також. Дуже багато різного, що буде поспорити. Так, продовжуємо далі з цим потім одінемо. Це нам для стелса потрібно. Так, повертаємо наші Так, а де ж? Я удів. Майстер робочий. Угу. Ні. Угу. Угу. Так. Так, зброя, гравець. Зброя. Арбалет, мисливський лук. Скинем. Арбалет ми залишимо. Тобто стріли нам не потрібні, кінжали сумки туди.
God be with.
Ще у нас багато що є, да? Так. Для стелсу у нас не вистачає одягу. Можемо так зробити. Але ні, дороге. Кидається в очі.
You. Keep the peace and we'll stay friends.
Яка із них?
See you later then.
Це не то. Да, це наш стелс. Так. Щодо їжі. Це викидаємо. 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 Єсть. Далі. Книги. Так. Книги ми ще зачитаємо. Дуже багато. Думаю, що для матеріалу нам треба скинути. Ну, друге діло. Це поки хай буде, що може щось спродаємо. І так, взагалі, що я планую в сьогоднішньому епізоді? У нас є завдання. Книгу для Монреаля. Спитайте в писаря про книгу. Хочу зробити завдання для Мельника це. Так, але спочатку можемо щось спродати,
God
да?
bless you, sir.
I'll have a look at the...
Так, продати. Поки нічого не будемо продавати. Це можна, це і це. Далі. Їжі, книги, це не купує. Матеріали. Нехай будуть.
Let's talk about the price.
Sure, why not?
How's this?
We're nearly there, just lower your price a bit more. Aye, you'll convince me with that price.
Так, спочатку підемо до конюха. Пам'ятаю, що тут. Подивимося на коняку, що нам пропонують. Я не знаю, що робити. Чи залишити нашу. От наша. Так, що він пропонує?
Greetings. Do you need something?
I'm here for some horse tack. I hear you have something for me.
Well, fuck me blind. You got out of jail yesterday and today you've got a horse. Fuck, I wouldn't mind having your kind of luck. But you're fucking things up for me and making a mess. And I don't want to get a whipping on your account. I've got the tack ready, but I've been ordered to show you our herring first. You can take him, they said. So kindly take a look at him in the stable here and tell me if you want him or not. God be with you, good sir.
Оселедчик. Так. Краща витривалість, краща швидкість, сміливість. Ну і ціна, звісно. Витривалість. Вантажність однакова. Ну. Не знаю, але це... Та ні, я залишу нашу. Настільки вона краще, чим... Краще, не то, щоб міняти нашу коня якось снашки, ні снашки.
I took a look at herring.
And?
A nice animal. But I'll keep my own.
Never mind looking a gift horse in the mouth, you flat out refuse to accept one. You're lost though, pal. Actually, now we've got to know each other, I want to let you in on this little scheme. We could both get something out of it. But you'd have to keep it to yourself. What do you say? Can you keep your mouth shut when coin's at stake?
I can keep my mouth shut. You can count on it. What's this about coin then?
Look, it's easy as pie. You keep your horse, which you wanted to do anyway, but I'll say you took herring, and then I'll sell him to someone. You'll do all right out of it. I'll pay you up front.
Look, about. It's not a bad plan, but I'd rather not get mixed up in anything like that.
Pity. But I know what you mean. No hard feelings. Now let's forget all about it and get back to the reason you came. You know how to ride and control a horse?
Don't worry. I'm right at home with horses. I learned to ride with cumans on my tail, and arrows whistling past my head. A tough school it was.
Well, I'll be damned. I never heard such a thing before. But even an experienced horseman like you needs equipment, as you well know. You can tack him up yourself, right?
Sure. Thanks.
Так.
Well,
Він нам дав зброю для коня, да? Обладунок. Да. Лицарське подкова. Потім уздечка. Підвіска. Так. Як це не повезло стільки? Ого, важке, 22 кг. Так вже перебантаження. Непогано. Так, зараз. З тобою ж можна якось? Нельзя. Десь був ще начебто. Начебто бачив. Конюху, з яким можна також поторгувати. Якщо я не помиляюсь.
Good day.
Good day.
Greetings, friend.
Greetings to you, friend.
Ну, не конях, він також, я думаю, робить для коней різні
Greetings. What do you need?
торгівля.
I'll have a look at the wares.
Так, що він продає тут нам? А мене з лицаря. Пояс лицаря. Це ми можемо купити. Бо у нас не таке. Взуття різне. Пояс мандрівника. Пояс мандрівника ми спродаємо. Міщанське взуття. Можемо собі придбати, начебто. Окей. Ладунок. Так, це сідло. Це ми ще купимо. Так, продати. Не також багато грошей, якщо чесно. Я би... Тільки це і може, да? Угу.
Let's talk about the price.
Well, I suppose we can try. Aye, you'll convince me with that price.
Так, є,
Thank
да?
you, sir. And come again.
У мене ще позалишалось трохи зайве. Так, єсть. Так буде краще. Пов'язки на руки забуду. У мене більше нема грошей, да? Не можу, чому я з тим не можу конюхом торгівлі займатися.
I'm always
silly
glad to see
doggy.
polite people like you.
Так, ну ще раз. О, вже можу.
What can I do for you?
Торгівля.
What do you have?
Що я можу тобі продати? Ладунок, їжа, інше. Та ладно.
I'm glad you found what you were looking for, sir.
О, зачекай. У нас є ще. Чи в нього нема більше грошей?
Show me your way.
Да, у нього більше нема грошей. Що мені з цим робити? Так спротивно.
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
Да, у меня на що ще є. Вот так. Ще трохи є. Угу. Вот так, або так. Ну, добре. Місце є. Так. Тоді. Скину туди же підкови. Списки лікаря, щоденник, указ. Це ми прочитали. Тут дуже багато. Тут більше не може вести, да? Так, тоді ми можемо спробувати скинути до нашого нашої скрині зайве. Так, інше гравець. Значить, все. Супер. Тоді тут ще хотів би зняти рукавиці. Ну і досить. Так. Зараз нам потрібно десь в цю частину замка спитати писаря. Так, я думаю, десь він зверху. Так, тут зачинено. Це до тебе начебто, да?
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
I'll have a talk with Nickvard and find out what the problem is.
You think I haven't tried? But since you've already offered to address this pressing situation, listen to what I've learned. It seems Nickvard lost the book. I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickfard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickfard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickfard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha, the cook, Regina, the maid, and Hirsch, the hand.
I reckon those aren't the only 3 people that know him.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickfard is a loner. Which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkhove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickfard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
Before I go, can you tell me where I can find those people in the castle?
Who, exactly?
Where is Bertha?
Bertha cooks for us in the crone's kitchen. She's there most days. If you can't find her there, try the first house in the lower castle, across from the door to the dungeon.
Where is Regina?
As Lord von Berkhoff's personal maid, she'll likely be somewhere in the Maiden's Palace, perhaps in the Knight's Hall, or on the floor above it, near the Lord's chambers. She even sleeps there.
Where is Hirsch, the stable boy?
I've seen him with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle. He sleeps in the house directly across from it. I don't know him much, though.
You said Nickfard is avoiding you. Where at the castle does he live? Are there any places he frequents?
Nickfard lives like a hermit here at Trotsky. Like a ghost. His chambers are in the Crone's Tower. But God knows if he's ever slept there. He took his meals down in the Crone's kitchen. Lately, I've often seen him talking to Regina in the Knight's Hall, in the Maiden, or looking out the hall window. I caught sight of him a few times with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle.
So I just have to hope I run into him somewhere.
Nickfard always just shows up. I've rarely ever found him on my own. I'm not surprised you can't find him anywhere, since I've been trying myself.
That's everything I needed to know.
Так. Треба познаходити кучу людей. Угу. І попитати їх, де я можу знайти цього Нікодіма. Так, кухарка, да. Дело. Нам треба кухарка.
I'm looking for Nickfard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Did he say where he was headed?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickfard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Well, if a nobleman's secret is worth so much, how about this? That'll buy you more than one book.
I suppose Lord Libac wouldn't mind. And do you have the exact amount?
Of course.
So many groschen. I promise I'll split it with Lord Libac when I see him, and I'll explain everything.
But now tell me, what's the medicine for?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Nickfard didn't have time to run down the stairs, eh?
It was in the privy down below the crone, by the training ground below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us. And I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another file. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway.
Так. У нього, коротше, срачка, що я зрозумів. І він біля своїх покоїв не хотів бігати, щоб не змішати дівчат, бо він кавалер, типа. І він бігав десь біля ресталища, да? Ресталище, десь тут. Тут на кожній десь є туалет, він десь тут бігав сюди. Ну, ми можемо ще тут переспитати. Може більш точніше вона скаже, та появиться маркер на карті, де шукати. Так. Тут. О.
Good day to you.
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capen. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
True enough. Nickvard has a flair for the dramatic.
My, that's Libac for you.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Libac has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I need help. You can give it some thought, can't you?
No! And now leave me alone.
Окей. Це ж пан. Не можна. Добре. Так. У нас ще залишився хлопак той, да? Так. Напевно, що в нього запитаємо і підемо тоді вже шукувати ресталище. Тому що всі клонять к тому, що він...
I'm
У нього
sorry.
була срачка, він десь загубив книгу.
Did you hear about what happened at the big wheel?
Начебто він
At the mill? Yeah, the place
із
by the
своєї срачки.
God bless. I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Libac. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing. Hmm?
What do you mean, forgot?
Nick Libac, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nickvard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
What are you blathering about?
Von Berghoff said there's a war on, right now. I told him, watch out for spies, Sir Otto. But fear not, I know how to sniff them out. You're a spy yourself, ain't you?
I am.
Oh, right. You're yanking my pizzle. But if you're lying and I report you anyway, just in case, don't imagine I'll get in trouble over it. That's why you have to be vetted, to see if you're really on our side, the side that Nickvard's on, just so you know. We're all friends here. You can join us.
I'd like to.
Hold your horses. First a test.
Tell me what you want from me, then.
A sword.
Sword? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Berghoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nickvard's task.
Добре.
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
Нема мене довго.
I don't want an invisible sword. Them are spy swords. Suspicious.
Listen, Hirsch.
Don't try any word games on me. Persuasion, threats. I know about them spy tricks. Deeds talk louder than words. For example, like bringing me a sword.
I'll think of a way to convince you.
Так, це хоче довгий меч. Думаю, що піду попробую пошукати біля ресталища. Якщо не зможу знайти, то вже піду тоді і куплю йому довгий меч. Так. Каже, тут десь... Не, це ще зарання. Хто?
So, how did you end up at Trotsky?
Sir Otto hired me in Prague as his bodyguard and a swordmaster for the local castle garrison. I reckon he sensed he was in danger, and he was right. A band of scoundrels was lying in wait for us on the road, and they nearly got us.
How was your company ambushed? What happened exactly?
It was well planned, I must admit. They nearly got us.
And what went wrong for them?
Hard to say. Maybe we were just lucky, and God was watching over us.
That's all there was to it?
If you really want to know what I think, the idiots lacked discipline. They rushed it.
What do you mean?
It might have come down to a single fool's mistake. I don't know. But if they'd just waited a bit longer, we wouldn't have stood a chance. Like I say, I thank the Virgin Mary and all the saints for watching over us.
Why do they call you Black Bartosz?
It's just a nickname, of course, because of my, black hair. Every swordsman has a nickname, you know? Once you win a few tournaments, they give you one.
So you're really a highborn knight?
Indeed. I'm Bartoszek of Drahonitz. My father served Emperor Charles his entire life.
Oh, sorry. I suppose I should call you sir.
No, there's no need for formalities. Titles are worthless. A man should earn a name for himself. It's not enough to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
You must have been honored when the royal chamberlain chose you as his bodyguard. How did you meet?
That's simple. I was serving in the garrison in Prague's royal castle, where von Burgo was a frequent guest.
I see. But what brought you to his attention? You have good connections, I suppose.
Depends what you mean. I'd recently won 2 big tournaments, so I was invited to a splendid banquet. It was there Sir Otto offered me a position at his castle. I'd heard of Trotsky, of course, but I was still astonished when I saw it with my own eyes. Sir Otto spared no expense to build a truly mighty fortress.
Sorry, but we're about the same age, and I'd never have guessed you're a swordmaster.
We each have our own path, it seems. I even studied at university, while I could still afford it.
What? You're a man of letters as well?
I wouldn't go that far. I dabble in poetry a bit, that's all. I may come from a noble family, but we're not renowned or rich, and studying costs a fortune, and I didn't have one, so I had to do what I do best.
You became a mercenary.
That's right. I spent more time fighting than studying at university, and I came out of it alive. So I reckoned that's where my talent lies.
Where did you learn to fight, Bartosz?
I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to it. I travelled a lot and was taught by several masters.
I'd like to see the world too. But I haven't even made it to Prague yet.
Well, I haven't been all that far either. But unless you learn from true masters, you'll never become a master yourself. Fortunately, these days there are plenty of swordsmen in Prague who will train you for coin.
I hope to make it to our royal city someday soon.
If you do, go and see Master Lamprecht and give him my regards. He's a man of honor and a peerless master of the longsword.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Certainly. Why not? I happen to have some time on my hands, and a good stretch would do me well. As you can probably figure, I like the longsword because it's beautiful and an absolutely nimble weapon. Our grandfathers didn't use them, but today in Prague, everyone is tripping over themselves to learn how to fight with one. I'll be happy to show you how to handle it better. What do you say?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
As you wish. The first thing is to realize a sword has 2 blades, and thanks to your second hand on the hilt, you can quickly spin it around and hit your opponent's head. These are exactly the techniques that make the longsword an extremely deadly weapon. Now come and try it a few times. Good. You've really got a knack for
Так,
it.
добре.
Keep it up, my friend.
Це у нас тут. О, це у нас сортир. Але тут ніяких підказок нема, що поглянути. Завжди нема такого. Це просто якась казарма, да? Угу. І що тут? Що це блока?
Where's that damned gravedigger?
Відокляти хто? Так, а що зверху? також. Якась казарма, чи що це? А, я тут не можу бути, да? Угу.
Good, doggy.
You shouldn't be bothering us here.
Все.
Where's that damn grave digger?
Так, я думаю, що не треба до нього збігати, ні? Щось мені підказує. Так, як тут? Ай! Так, значить то ще, да? Чи ні? Туди зможу? Да, я туди можу вийти.
Crone and maiden standing behind the gate. That was in Gable's riddle.
Угу. Це щодо... Ага. То щодо зброї... Бронцвіка, чи як його там? Ну, я не знаю. Я бачив скріни, і щось не дуже воно мені подобається. Можна зібрати для ачівки в Steam, не більше. Що він каже? Так, це теж каналізація.
You must be Nick Vard, eh?
I hope someone paid. God grant you health.
А. Шляхтиш. Це він?
It's starting to stink.
Шлункове зілля.
Where's that damn grave digger?
Да, де книжка?
I hope someone pays for a requiem mass.
Це воно?
Colour cover, embossed. That'll be the book Crazel wants, but it's quite ordinary. Apart from being covered in shit.
Where's that damn grave digger?
Так. Да, по ідеї виконав завдання. Тоді відправляємося до мельника, що чекати. Вже ніч. Добре, тоді переночуємо, напевно, тут. Уже зранку. Віддамо завдання. Так, підемо перекусимо. Так, і шукаємо нашого борошника. От наш борошник.
God bless.
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Let's just say the scribe didn't have it. It actually wasn't even in the castle. Under it, really.
Oh, Refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistus. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Kraser, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time.
Stop that whistling.
There now.
Так, це не та... Начебто сторона, да?
What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Kraser, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not, until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part.
One more word, Zinek, and you'll get one on the nose.
Calm down, friend. I'm just kidding. Tell him then, Bonnie.
This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tactics.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistus and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
You left your studies?
And I'm glad I did. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called
Feuerwerkbuch.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
Угу. Оголошила навіть.
The hole is maybe 9 feet. No splinters, white ash.
Начебто все, да? Ми виконали начебто це завдання. Я думаю повертатися до замку.
Easy. Nice and slow.
Так, ну що, мої друзі, ми прибули до замку. Що собі думаю? Я думаю, на цьому будемо завершити наш сьогоднішній епізод. Ми виконали всі завдання від ворожника. І вже в наступному епізоді, я думаю, ми разом із паном Тачиком відправимося до... Я не пам'ятаю як... До Небакова з посланням. Митися. Ну що тут є? Дуже великий дякую за перегляд, за твій лайк та коментар. Зустрінемося в наступному епізоді. Хай щастить. Чао!